fans, welcome to Falcon Weekly here on BJSUFalcons.com. I'm Evan Hidnick, joined, as always, by the head coach of the Bowling Green Falcons, Bergeron. Coach, a split this weekend, Friday night, lost to Ohio State, but able to get it right back on Saturday night.
First of all, I'd like to comment on your mustache. It's coming in nicely. I know I shouldn't be pointing fingers because I don't have the guts to grow one because it looks so embarrassing, but that's a nice little stash you've got.
Appreciate it, thank you.
Thank you for having me. The split with Ohio State, yeah, it's been well talked about. We had such a great crowd Friday night, and we're very thankful for the students and the townies alike, if you will. Just a great atmosphere for college hockey, and we felt like we played fine. A 1-0 lead going into the third is usually a pretty good spot to be in, and it's a spot we've been in before this year in terms of going into the third with the lead. You get through 15 minutes of that period, fairly okay, and then the last 5 kind of went haywire. So hopefully it's something we can learn from. Credit to Ohio State for sticking in there, but you look at that tying goal, we shot the puck in our own net literally, and I think it was just a culmination. It was what was supposed to happen. We weren't sharp for enough, and this isn't about getting after people Saturday or having to respond to a bad Friday, but it's happened a couple times this first half, and we have to stop doing that. We have to take advantage of those home games, take advantage of crowds like we had. And I think there's lots of excuses you could think of, the long trip to Alaska and getting back from that, and they're nothing more than excuses as far as I'm concerned, and we are not going to let them sneak in and get in our way and distract us. And people have been talking about the rankings, and again, that's nothing more than a distraction. It's an opinion, and when people's opinion is we're the 30th team in the country, or people's opinion we're the 19th, our focus shouldn't change and can't change. But they're all experiences that we're going through for the first time, and hopefully the next time we'll be more prepared to handle it properly. Saturday night, I thought we did a nice job of getting a road win. Chris Nell had a great first period, probably kept us in the game in that first period. And then the second and third, they had 14 shots in the first, and then over the course of the second and third, they had 15. So we were able to really shut the door and limit their opportunities over the next 2 periods. They had a little flurry there, and when it was 6-on-5, and that tends to happen. But I thought we handled it fine, and a really good road win to kind of get the ship right before we head into these league games this weekend.
You mentioned Chris Nell. Tommy Burke had 4 straight starts before Chris Nell started on Saturday. Nell and Scholl are kind of even in the games played category. Mm-hmm. Where do you go from here between those two?
Well, that's going to play itself out. We don't have a plan where we go from here. What we wanted to do is get Chris that third start that puts him on the same level as Thomas, and we're evaluating practice every day. But to see the way Chris handled himself and the way he played, and again, in particular, the first period on Saturday night was a confidence builder for all of us. I'm sure it's a confidence builder for him, but for the team to see him play like that, for the coaching staff to see him play like that, is a great thing for Chris, and we're excited for him. And like I told you from the beginning, he was brought here to play, and the way he played Saturday, he proved that he can play at this level. Now it's a matter of consistency, and we'll see how it goes. By no means is Thomas Scholl out of the conversation, and obviously Tommy Burke has played some pretty good hockey, so it's a nice competition there. There seems to be a good, hearty back and forth between all 3 of them, which is a good thing. We're looking for internal competition, which brings out the best in people, and we think that's what's happening in goal.
Coach, to go back to Saturday really quick, special teams, you were able to capitalize on the power play for the first time since the Clarkson series. Anything change really in practice, or it's just a matter of time? Well,
it was a 5-on-3 or a 4-on-3, so that obviously helps. We haven't been totally unhappy with the Friedman group. The results haven't been there, but there's been zone time, there's been opportunity. I think of 3 or 4 opportunities we had in Alaska that should have been goals that weren't. We're going to have to change up the other unit a little bit. It seems stale. It doesn't seem to be very cohesive, and there just doesn't seem to be a comfort level there with what we're trying to accomplish. So we may have to look for a different look on that one. But it's nice to get one. It's a 3-2 game, and you get one on the power play. It's a great thing, and our penalty kill is doing their part of keeping teams off the board. What I liked about Saturday is we had 7 opportunities. Friday we had 1. So it talks a little bit more about our second and third effort for us to garner 7 opportunities or on the power play. I'd like us to be more than 1 for 7, but we'll take the 1, and the fact that we shut them down on the penalty kill is a good thing.
And that's the coach going into this weekend home series against Bemidji State. Obviously a divisional conference game. Obviously huge to try to pick up 4 points this weekend before the break.
Yeah, and Evan, we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves in terms of the number of points. We want to talk about playing well and that 60-minute consistent effort, that consistent execution. Bemidji's coming off a tough stretch. They've had Mankato and Tech the last 2 weekends, and those are obviously big-time opponents within our league and within the country. We know it's a long trip. We played them the end of last year here, but we don't know a whole lot about them because of we only played them twice last year, and we do have them 4 times this year. So by the end of this year, we'll know a bunch about them. But this is a team that went into North Dakota and beat them 5-1. I don't care who you are. You go into North Dakota and take care of them like that, you've got a good team. They've had a very difficult non-conference schedule. They played Minnesota. They swept Fairbanks at home. I mean, it's a big time opponent, and another WCHA series and weekend that we have to be ready to compete at a very high level. We have to be ready to get to our game early on Friday night and sustain that all the way through the end of Saturday night. And that's the plan. Now, are we able to execute that plan? That's the challenge.
Coach, I appreciate the time and best of luck this weekend.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.